Hi guys, welcome to the channel talking all things Zelda. With less than 50 days to go until release date, today I want to show you why Tears of the Kingdom is not simply going to be Breath of the Wild DLC and why you should be very excited for this game, and also build Aonuma's latest comments into my thinking here. So for all the naysayers out there, watch on to find out why you shouldn't doubt the Zelda development team in producing what I can confidently say will be another masterpiece, while feeling like a completely unique experience when compared alongside Breath of the Wild. Let me first take you back many years, to a time when game manuals were still a thing, and a much younger me made the mistake of doubting the direction the Zelda series was being taken. I know, but life is about learning from your mistakes. I'd played through Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask countless times by this point, being my first Zelda games, and was excited about what the next game in the series would bring to the table, and where the series was headed next, a topic frequently spoken about in the official Nintendo magazine. Websites were pretty basic back then, so magazines were always my go-to for gaming news, which helped build the hype because you only got monthly updates. There had been a tech demo shown in the year 2000 at the Space World Exposition of what the game could look like, showing Ocarina of Time's Link, the hero of time, fighting Ganondorf. The graphics at the time were beyond imagining, and their swords were even clashing, something that isn't even a given in games made today. It just looked epic, and I fully appreciate that this looks fairly basic now, but everything is relative. Then all went quiet for a while before the big reveal. Here it is, a new adventure set in Ocarina of Time's world. All aboard the hype train. Hang on a minute. Cartoon graphics? Young Link? What is this? Little did I know at the time, but Aonuma had hated the tech demo shown at Space World, which we now know had been hastily put together to feature alongside the GameCube's reveal at the event. Aonuma believed the idea to be unoriginal and that the team had exhausted all avenues for this particular format and style of a Zelda game. I was just completely baffled by the new cel-shaded direction the series was now going in, but the game came bundled with a copy of Ocarina of Time in the UK, which included the Master Quest with reworked dungeons that I'd not played through before, so that in itself was enough for me to save up my paper round money to pre-order the game. So release day arrived, and I can't say that I was overly enthused about picking up the game, but I fired it up and watched the opening cutscene, still skeptical, but the moment I started walking around Outset Island and rotating the camera around Link with the new C stick, this was the first time we had dual control sticks, remember, but the moment I was let loose on that island, I knew this game was special. Then proceeding to pick up the sword and learn the new combat techniques, which were only made possible by the cel-shaded graphics and the movement that they subsequently allowed. Nintendo had done it again. My mind was blown and I couldn't put the game down. What followed was an incredible gameplay experience with an equally gripping story, with plenty of wow moments. Many still consider this to be their favourite Zelda experience, and very few people, if they were honest, would have said that going into the game. From this, I've learned to trust Aonuma and his team. They could have played it safe at the time with a graphically improved game similar to Ocarina of Time, but instead they are a team of exceptionally talented individuals that always look to take the series in a new direction. That is why the release of each Zelda game is so incredibly exciting. So this leads me on to addressing the complaints I've seen about Tears of the Kingdom incorporating the same map as Breath of the Wild and reusing assets. You don't have to go far to see an example of this working incredibly well. Think about what Nintendo did with a year working on Majora's Mask, while using similar and in some cases the same assets. Nintendo created an entirely unique game that played very differently to Ocarina of Time. To this day, the 3-day cycle and timed side quests remain some of the very best implementations of new mechanics into the Zelda series, and that's before you even talk about the drastically different gameplay opportunities afforded by the masks. Perhaps the vehicle building mechanics are Tears of the Kingdom's version of Masks, allowing even more possibilities in a world we already love and are desperate to get back into. It worked so well before. After falling completely in love with Ocarina of Time, we were all more than happy to return to a similar world that at the same time presented a completely fresh experience. Remember also that we are not simply in the same version of Hyrule as Breath of the Wild. We have what will probably be at least 2 additional layers to this game: sky exploration and then the Dark World, Underworld or Underground, call it what you like. This in and of itself, before all the additional content we have yet to discover, would make this game Breath of the Wild times 3. Not to mention that all the quests and side quests on the surface will be completely new, and this is before we even find any of the new dungeons. The DLC for Breath of the Wild, Parts 1 and 2, including the Champion's Ballad, released within 10 months of Breath of the Wild launching, which essentially means the development team have spent 5.5 years on Tears of the Kingdom. Just think about that for a moment. The Breath of the Wild DLC added tons of content, with the Trial of the Sword being my favourite part of it. I always find it incredibly fun to tackle scenarios with limited resources and therefore have to really think about the strategy before wasting valuable arrows on the wrong enemy. But if they added this much content to Breath of the Wild within 10 months, think about what they will have done with 5.5 years. Tears of the Kingdom will go far beyond what any DLC could have done. They have already admitted to making a sequel because they had so many ideas as to where Breath of the Wild could be expanded. Couple this with Aonuma's latest comments and we can start getting even more excited for release date. As part of his acceptance speech for Famitsu's most anticipated game, his comments can roughly be translated to, in the sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, furthermore, the player's free imagination will be filled with new gameplay that will bring about changes to the game world. And then he followed this up by saying he hoped everyone would feel pleasantly surprised by this and would enjoy exploring Hyrule in an unknown state. So essentially, game-changing mechanics and a new world to explore are confirmed. Expect this game to be completely different to Breath of the Wild. There are going to be so many new things to do and experience. Then, for people saying they haven't seen much with regards to what this game is going to be about, this is completely by design. Nintendo are doing this on purpose, and I am all here for it. We've all become accustomed to having an abundance of game details revealed before release, and then when it actually comes to playing the game, you almost feel a bit deflated because you already know what is going to happen, or the exciting new mechanics are suddenly not as exciting as you'd envisaged they would be. I'd liken this to those film trailers you see that basically reveal the full plot within their 2-minute trailer. Why would we want this? Are you saying that you can't enjoy the game unless you know exactly how it will work beforehand? Surely it's the opposite. In terms of what I'm fundamentally looking for from a game, it's another moment similar to that in Ocarina of Time. After pulling the Master Sword from its pedestal, skipping forward in time by 7 years and dramatically changing the game world around us, I was quite simply blown away by that as a kid. I had absolutely no idea it was going to happen. Bring on some moments like this in Tears of the Kingdom, I say. This is a series that you can trust and has more than earned that right. It has built up more than enough goodwill over the years. They delay these games so that they can perfect them. They're only releasing top tier content at this point. Couple this with the fact that there are no bad Zelda games. Even my least favourite games in the series are still industry leading. Wrapping up then, have faith. This game is going to be phenomenal. There are no two ways about it. We'll be playing and enjoying this game for years to come, and it will go so far beyond what a DLC package could have offered. And I fully expect this game to have its own DLC at some point. I want this channel to be as interactive as possible, so please do comment down below to let me know if you agree. Please also help me out and subscribe, and I'll throw some more awesome content your way soon on all things Zelda. Thanks, have a good one, and catch you next time.